I'm your host, Peter Precht, with Optometry Profits Revealed, and we're going to do a quick interview here with Mike Gzik. So I've just said who you are. Without any further ado, I'm going to roll into our questioning. Mike, what made you pursue optical?
Oddly enough, it was just I was in high school, not knowing what I wanted to do. Actually, I kind of thought I wanted a career in broadcasting, like a disc jockey. Anyway, somebody came to our high school. Yes, I know. I saw you're still very envious. But somebody came to our high school and said, it's a 2-year degree. You're never gonna get rich, and you're never gonna starve to death. But it kind of intrigued me. I've worn glasses all my life, and then went to Erie Community College, got an associate's degree there. And while I was there, contact lenses were part of the program, and I really liked the marriage of the optics, the math, and what you could do with the patient with that. And I started falling in love with just contact lenses as part of the optical tradition, if you will, or benefit. This was back in 1973, so it was PMMA and just Bausch and Lomb and American Optical had soft lenses, and those are the only players, basically.
Right.
So that's what kind of made me fall in love with that part.
B&L was such a huge player at that stage too. I knew several people that I trained with in other fields that's where they got that's where they trained. That's where they got their start, was the B&L at that same time. So where did you've said where you? The next question was, where did you train and get educated? You kind of said some of that. Explain a little bit further about the contact lens directions that you've gone up into today, and then we'll connect some other things about.
Okay. Well, when I went to Erie Community College, I had one of my professors was Thomas Acara, ACARA, and actually his daughter Janet is currently there too. And he was pretty much my mentor. I really enjoyed the contact lenses. About a year and a half after I graduated, I got a chance to work for Tom. Very offbeat character. I was thinking, oh yeah, he's such, in about a year and a half, I'll know everything this guy knows and I'll be on my way. And after working a year and a half for him, I figured I could be with this guy the rest of my life and I'll know half of what he knows, because he was so well versed in contact lenses. Very impressive. Anyway, so he became my mentor, and then he got me into the Contact Lens Society of America, which at that time was just so strong in education. And I learned from Joe Soper, Sanning, Tannehill. I mean, all these guys that were really brilliant at that time, fitting PMMA lenses, which again had the oxygen permeability of stainless steel. So you really had to know what you're doing with those lenses. Anyway, that's where I got my start. My education came through the formal education was Erie Community, and then the contact lens education was almost all exclusively Contact Lens Society of America meetings, books that they had, and things like that. So that was my contact lens education.
And I think you sort of connected the next question with your mentor there a little bit, but one of them. But when was the moment that you fell in love with opticianry?
I would have to say about a year or so after I graduated and started working in the field. It just gave me a real sense of belonging to the ophthalmic community. And I started really enjoying that interaction. I enjoyed it even more when I started working for Tom and fitting contact lenses on keratoconus, and people have had cataract surgery. And that's when I felt a real connection there with being able to provide a service, being able to make a living. I started just enjoying it.
You're providing a brand new world to those people, those steep corneas that had nothing but, nothing clear before that. That's for sure. I mean, I think that's awesome. And you were at the beginning of that. So why would you say that you're passionate about eye care overall?
It's the ability, what you just mentioned, Peter, the ability to give sight and hope to someone who, let's say, was told time and time again it can't be done. And in many cases, just having that person smile. I just had a woman the other day just said she just wanted to hug me, just because I restored something that she had lost or thought she was never going to get again.
Right.
And those are things that make you going.
I think that those are the most immeasurable things that we do. There's no question. Time and time again, when I talk to opticians, these same sentiments do come through. They also connect back with why people that have found even other spin-off careers connect back to this, and even in some cases work as opticians, part-time or however they to keep that connection, like you were talking about, that moment, the being involved, being part of that actual moment when people see clearly, and people love it. And then lastly, you have a quick story about a mentor. You've kind of alluded to a few, but do you have any?
I've had a couple. I've been so fortunate over the years, Peter, as far as not only optician mentors. I've worked in ophthalmological practices. I had a couple of great ophthalmologists that I worked for when I first started working. I moved from Buffalo to Syracuse in '77. Started working for a large ophthalmological practice. I had two ophthalmologists there that were currently doing the contact lenses. They wanted to bring somebody on so they could hand it off, and they just handed it off to me, and I learned just another, an incredible amount of not only how to, corneas and health of the eye, but how to manage patients. And that was a huge thing. And it was just such a treat for me to go to work. Again, when you find something, one of them actually said, if you find something you love and you're doing it, you'll make money at it, or you'll make a living. But all you got to do is love what you're doing. And I've enjoyed being an optician, fitting contacts. Now I do both. I just enjoy it. It's a joyful existence.
It's a calling for me. And for me, it's a calling to make sure that opticians are involved going forward, to make sure that they have that dialogue continuing going forward, because we're watching them get removed day in and day out, just as long as we've been interviewing people and been clicking and buying. And, opticians need to find a way to be involved with that. Thank you so much for doing this interview, Mike. This has been wonderful. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Peter. Looking forward to seeing you Lancaster in a couple of weeks.
Oh, it's going to be wonderful. Our inaugural conference. Yeah, this is going to be great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Peter.